I can't see now, so that's it, my tennis days are over. When really it's just a new challenge for people. Can they actually develop the skills to play this new sport, VI tennis?
Just because you're visually impaired does not mean that you are limited. My name is Jack Fisher. I'm 23 years old. I'm studying at the University of Derby, having just completed a degree in mathematics at the University of Derby. I've just started a PhD in mathematics and computer science about helping the visually impaired cope with mathematics.
Coding is a complicated subject, but being a visually impaired person doesn't make it any easier, as the text on the screen has to be scaled up to be readable, which means less text can be shown, and this makes it even harder to understand the code in full picture. However, this has not challenged Jack. He has been putting a lot of effort into memorizing codes. Now he is capable of writing on his own. Outside of university, Jack plays visually impaired tennis. This was originated by a blind Japanese in 1984, who was passionate in making tennis accessible to the VI community. And it is now being played in over 30 countries, including UK. VI tennis was first introduced here in 2006, and the number of players is continuously growing. For Jack, his interest in tennis started with a tennis court next to his house.
I first started playing tennis when I was a very young child, as we had a tennis court by our first house, and I used to go down there regularly and just hit the balls from one side of the court to the other. In the last few years, I started playing visually impaired tennis, as my dad found it on the internet when we were looking for things to do. Since then, I've been playing it for the past 4 or 5 years. VI tennis is different in many ways to normal tennis, in that we use a different sized court, and we use different balls, slightly bigger and made of sponge, with bells inside. Depending on your sight category, you have different bounces. So if you're a B1, completely blind, you get 3 bounces, and you have to wear blindfolds. If you're a B2, you have some sight, you also play with 3 bounces, and you play on a bigger court, but not blindfolded. And if you're a B3, as I am, you get 2 bounces, and you play again on the 4-size court and are not blindfolded. You're also allowed to volley in any category. If you're a B4 or B5, you play with 1 bounce, you're not blindfolded, and you also play on the same sized court. The difference in actual gameplay made it slightly easier than playing normal tennis.
In the last couple of years, Jack has started receiving trainings at the Nottingham Tennis Centre. Martin has been coaching Jack's playing by focusing on his weaknesses, such as backhand.
When he came to me, Jack was, he could hit the ball, and he's got a great forehand, but his backhand at that time was almost non-existent. And when asked him why, it was all about, I can't play it, I'm no good at it. Jack in this case backhand was a lot weaker, let's get him to encourage his backhand. And the way you do that is obviously by getting him drills, but then in point, you can always kind of make it so that, okay, Jack, we'll play some points out. If you hit a winning ball on the forehand, you get 1 point. If you hit a winning ball on the backhand side, you get 5 points. Jack's obviously very good at his maths, so he would work out actually, wait a sec, I only have to hit 2 backhands and I'm 10-0 up. versus I'd have to hit 10 forehands. So then it starts to encourage them on that backhand side.
Although initially visually impaired tennis is a difficult sport, it is a lot of fun to play, and over time it will become much easier and much more of a fun sport to play against people. Currently this year there are 7 tournaments, as one has been added. These are in Loughborough, York, Newcastle, Cambridge, London, Birmingham, and the Nationals, which is also held in London. The tournaments are currently held as 1 or 2 day tournaments. Apart from playing in the tournaments, they're a great way to socialise with other people who participate, as usually the same people appear in most of the tournaments. This means that we can reconnect with people we may not have seen for a while, and is a great way to make friends and exchange useful information from other people, such as how to use software and how to cope with other visually impaired problems. My goal for this year for the tournaments is to get into the semi-finals of the doubles and to get into the quarter-finals of the singles, as these have never been achieved by me yet. This is my first match of the year. A little bit nervous. I won the first one. And lost the second one against Alex. I am very happy that I have achieved my goals of reaching the quarter-finals in the singles and the semi-finals in the doubles. This is because of my determination and the amount of effort I've put into training this year. More importantly though, I have enjoyed playing every match and I treasure the friendships I've built up in this community.
How would you describe Jack as a person?
Jack
I
is,
love Jack.
Jack is a really friendly, warm, very supportive person.
Probably just determined.
He doesn't always win, but he does keep coming back and he always enjoys himself.
He's very friendly, and as Dave says, they've had some really competitive games against each other, and he's just an all-round good guy. Yeah. He's lovely.
You know, very sociable, always comes to the after party, so to speak, you know, the tournament meal.
Very chatty. I don't think you'd ever describe him as shy.
He's actually, I'd describe him as a role model for younger, you know, boys and girls coming up through the sport.
I think Jack is, you know, he kind of leads, and that's a good thing. People follow as well. Jack will often help meet the players at the train station, and then they'll all go together to the tennis centre to train, and then afterwards they'll all go for something to eat. And Jack will be at the front there of the queue because he's confident that he can lead them all, and obviously you've got B1s at the back of the line where they perhaps won't know where they're going or they're following Jack. So you can kind of see he's built up a lot of trust in the players, in his peers, you know, that they're leading it, you know, he's leading them. Disabilities is about how it changes, and it's for each individual person. So for us, it's about working what works with the player, and then from there, we kind of move it forward. So, for example, for me, if we're working at B1s, which is obviously no sight whatsoever, and they play with blindfolds on, it's a totally different way to teach than it would be with the B2s, 3s, where they've got limited sight, but they can kind of see the ball once it's within a 2 metre or 2 metres, and then they can go and hit it. So the various coaching depends on the player and their ability. Rather than going straight into hitting tennis ball, things like tracking of the ball, so that's the key. Can they hear the ball correctly? So rolling the ball to them and saying, right, just go out, go move to that ball. You know, can they decide when the ball's in front of them? Then you get them with the racket and they just stop the ball in front of them so they can hear it coming to them. When they think it's close enough, they stop the ball. So you build it up gradually until you feel that they're ready, they can hit at least one ball. Even if you just put the ball on the racket, at least they can hit it. And then you can then describe, yeah, that was good, it went in the net or went over the net or it went a million miles out. So for me, it's about you building the confidence up rather than just going straight into a game of tennis where really you're setting everyone up to fail, because it's never going to happen. You've got to build it up, get their confidence going. But the other thing is as well, relating to the players. So why does anybody do tennis? Take away the VI tennis, why do you and I do tennis? Why would Fred Bloggs do tennis? And it's more of a social.
When I initially started playing visually impaired tennis, I found that the VI tennis community were a very welcoming and sociable community who were willing to help me with whatever I needed, such as getting tennis balls from Japan or getting from wherever to the venue that I wished to play at.
So the community around the game is absolutely really, really amazing.
And it encourages you to become more socialised, which is something that a lot of visually impaired people have difficulty with in terms of getting out of the house and getting mobile and stuff like that.
We all like a good party after the tournaments. Whether you're drinking to celebrate or you're drinking to commiserate your results of that weekend. But we all really get on well, and as Jan says, it's like a big family.
People encourage everybody. You know, if you're having a kind of bad day, I haven't done so great this morning, and you know, people have been really supportive and saying, you know, you're playing really well.
Tennis isn't just about can I do it, or the football. If you played football, it's about I'm part of something. I'm part of a group. I'm part of a team where I can kind of be the same as everyone else and just having good banter.
So everyone should give it a go, no matter what your impairment. To join the VI Tennis community is very easy to find. It can be found on Facebook using the VI Tennis UK Facebook group. It can also be found by Googling VI Tennis.